Hey everyone, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by three very special guests. First up is Darren W. Haar, the managing editor of Zelda Informer.
Hey, what's up everybody?
Next is Alex Rosenberg, media director of Zelda Universe.
Hello!
And finally, Alex Trevino, the social media manager of Zelda Universe.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And I wanted to bring all of us together to talk about something that really affected me during my playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and that's the characterization of, well, the characters and the overall story. So let's just jump right into it. So I actually had this idea as I was collecting the memories of Zelda. You know, that's one of the big things, that's how you're going to get most of your plot and backstory in the game. And as I'm watching this and I'm finally getting a sense of what Zelda is like, I'm like, I really want to talk about this. I need to talk about this. So as soon as I finally finished the game, which was a few days ago, and let myself gestate in a bit, wanted to call out to you guys and get a sense of what all of you thought about just the story and how they presented it and Zelda herself. So just in an overall sense, how did it leave you feeling? Darren, let's start with you.
That's a tough question because in a lot of ways I love the story. There are some downsides to it, but it's much different than any other story we've seen in Zelda. For one, the way you experience the story is different from how someone else may experience the story. You know, with the memories mechanic, you know, you'll discover different parts at different times than other people. But I really enjoyed it. I think, as I said before, best story in any Zelda game. And when I beat the game, I kind of sat back and just kind of thought about it. My general thoughts about it? And to be honest, I noticed there was a lack of backstory surrounding Ganon, which that could be a negative or it could be a positive depending on how you view Ganon. But I noticed that Ganon was really just a plot device. A plot device to push the story forward, to kind of develop the other characters. Because you don't really hear much about him. He's just an evil, and he's coming back, and he's going to destroy Hyrule. It's not like A Link to the Past or Ocarina of Time when you see, Ganondorf right at the beginning of the game. So I thought that was one interesting aspect of the story that I noticed, and I was actually talking with one of my colleagues at Zelda Informer that we had both noticed. So that's one big takeaway from the story I had is that they kind of left Ganon alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to get into that, but first let's get the general impressions. Rosenberg, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed the way that they kind of went about it, because part of it was, you were finding all these different pieces in different parts of Hyrule, and so depending on what you went with first, you kind of had to fill in the pieces yourself. And I thought that was really cool, because then you would go into one memory and you'd watch it, and then you'd have to go, okay, so where does that connect with the other thing? And it just was I enjoyed it because it made you think a lot more, like, kind of what he said before, like, you have to think a lot about it. Now, about, I do sort of agree that Ganon is kind of used as a placeholder of, just progressing the story. I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. I think it kind of, it's nice to have that as, hey, there's this thing here, but, it's there. You're going to have to face it at some point. So let's just focus on developing all these other things. So I really appreciated that.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Trevino?
This story, it's good. It's just really good. It just, I think by the end of the game is it made me want more. But by the end of it, I like the characters. The story feels really structured. Again, Ganon did not seem like a threat to me, honestly. Honestly, yes, he's done his damage in the past 100 years, or even go back to 10,000 years as the story narrates. But yeah, there's parts that I felt could have been added more to, or even just worked around better, just to get more content and more fleshed out stories. But other than that, it felt like a nice, decent, okay story. It wasn't bad, but it could have been better.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm falling pretty much in line with you guys. I actually didn't even think about the Ganon aspect of the story until Darren brought it up, because he is just he's omnipresent, but also such a non-entity in the grand scheme of things, especially compared to previous Zelda games. And what actually struck me a lot as I finished collecting all of the memories and watching them through again, I realized there's very little story in the present day. All of it happened in the past, and you're just working from what happened in the past to try to resolve all the things that happened there. So you have a prologue, which services all the backstory, and then just here's like a little, I don't know, epilogue to how it all ends, with Link finally getting his memory back, getting the strength to actually take care of Ganon, avenging all of the champions that fell, and getting a sense of what happened to Hyrule in the intervening 100 years. And it's sort of weird because if there wasn't for those memories, there'd be very little plot to Breath of the Wild. It'd be kind of nothing, or at least as basic as almost Zelda 1, which isn't a bad thing in necessity. It's again, makes it wide open, lets you fill in the gaps, lets it be a kind of mystery about what happened. And I definitely don't think this is a bad way to tell the story. And I was intrigued the entire way through, learning more. It was only upon retrospection that I realized that was even a thing that was happening. But moving on to Ganon, and I do want to focus on him. It's very strange, especially like my favorite Zelda is Wind Waker, and Ganondorf has such an interesting character to him in that game. How he was locked away, how he's been so desperate to get to the Triforce, and you just get a real powerful sense, especially in the climax, about what he wants to do. And I love Ganon's design when you finally see him in this. But, if you prepare at all for him, he's a non-threat completely. Like, you will... I can't imagine anybody who spent any amount of time getting all the shrines and whatnot having that much difficulty actually defeating Ganon. And I think that lowers his impact.
I think if you even complete most of the main quest, like the Divine Beasts, not even all the shrines, because I did not complete all the shrines before taking on Ganon, and I thought he was pretty easy. So even just beating the Divine Beasts, I thought was preparation enough for Ganon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would agree with you, but I also spent 20 minutes on the first major phase of that battle today, so I'm also really bad at games. But I also think, I don't think it's... again, like you said, Zelda 1 sort of, recollections aren't necessarily bad. And I do agree with you that, Wind Waker's got such this great character backstory for Ganon. And so to see it not really existent in Breath of the Wild is a very interesting move. It was a choice. I don't necessarily think it was maybe the most effective choice, but it was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It gave a sense of menace to Ganon that we hadn't seen for quite a while. Like he had won, but hadn't fully taken over victory. And as the game explains by the time you get to him, he's just been he's given up on resurrection. He's just complete malice at this point, almost to the point of putting him back to what we saw with Demise back in Skyward Sword. And to me, that's fascinating to see him degrade after that long. But it also, I guess, ties into the timeline, and I think most agree at this point that Breath of the Wild takes place an untold number of years after Twilight Princess. And how long that's, I'm actually still trying to figure out the exact placement of where the Divine Beast came from and all this Sheikah technology while still fitting in the events of Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, and Twilight Princess. It's very interesting, but the thing that it comes back to is we are so far in the future when it comes to this. There's a wide gap in this that it really did become Legends, and we do see the degradation of Ganon throughout these years, and it's fascinating that even after all this long, he is still a threat.
Right. I think staying on the Ganon topic, that it harkens back to the first Zelda game a lot. Because you really didn't know about Ganon in The Legend of Zelda for NES at all. He was just this threat that you knew you were going to face, at the end of the game, which is basically what Ganon is in Breath of the Wild. You learn that he's there, and you got to stop him. That was a clear callback to the first game, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially how it ends too with a Zelda as her famous line, "You are the hero of Hyrule." Happened in Breath of the Wild and happened all the way back in Zelda 1. It's a huge callback.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I feel like that was Breath of the Wild's main aesthetic of, let's just do, like, 3D Zelda 1, massive open world, but we'll just drop you in, very, relatively loose storyline, and just go with it. And I think that's really cool, especially considering how long it's been since Zelda 1. I do have to say on the Ganon topic, though, I did feel like that, when you first see Ganon in its true form. I remember, because I had the same experience when playing Ocarina of Time, when I first saw Calamity Ganon, like, in full, the noise I made was just, oh, wow, oh, okay, I'm fighting this, okay, cool, this is, Like, there was that level of, like, awe and just kind of, like, shock, and I feel like that was something I really, really appreciated that they invoked. And I think that was smart, the fact that you don't really see him until the end. And so you don't really know what you're expecting. You have an idea, but not the extent.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be more of his pig form, and to see his first form where he still has the man skull, the human skull, and he has this classic red hair from his Ganondorf form and all that. But then just parts of him, part of this ancient technology, and he's more like insect-like more than anything else. It was just a really great design. And of course you get the second form where it's huge, you get the boar form and all that. Unfortunately, it's not threatening at all, but it's still just cool to see. And you definitely get the both forms of Ganon and see how it all goes. But I do think the first form is the much stronger design.
It was also just like was completely caught me off guard.
Yeah, it's funny that we had all this about Ganon, but I think the fact that Ganon isn't focused on so much does leave a lot more room for development of the other characters, especially Zelda. But before we get to her, I do want to bring up the champions, since they do each get their own little cutscene with introducing them, getting a better sense of them. What did you guys think about each of the champions? Darren, let's start with you again.
I thought the champions were pretty cool. I would have liked to directly interact with them, which you kind of do. But most of what you learn about them is from the memories, which again is a really cool mechanic. But each of them have their own separate charm. You have Rivali, who's kind of cocky, whatnot. And then you have Mipha, who's kind of got it for Link. That's the vibe I got.
Totally.
They have a lot of they have distinct personalities, which I really liked, and I thought the voice acting brought that out. But I liked them because I feel like there were, just in Breath of the Wild, there was more character development in individual characters than there have been in lots of Zelda games. Like, yeah, there's been importance placed on some characters, maybe in different side quests like Majora's Mask in the past, but I think these champions really brought out what character development can be in a Zelda game. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rosenberg?
Oh man, I have to jump off on that. I feel like the voice acting completely changed how I viewed all these characters because I had something to relate to. I think my two main highlights is Rivali and Urbosa, because Urbosa has this like she reminds me so much of Megara from Hercules, which is something I completely vibe with completely. And Rivali's just snark and condescending tone, and the fact that he's a Rito, immediately just was like, this is Zelda's Falco. This is Lombardi as Naruto. And I literally texted a friend with a photo of Rivali and said, "Oh my god, I found Falco." And those qualities like completely attached me onto both Urbosa and Rivali, and I loved that. I enjoyed the stuff for Daruk as well. The only Divine Champion I had some issues trying to fully warm up to was Mipha. I don't know exactly what it was because the power that she gives you was so OP, but I felt like some of the line reading and how the voice was, how that sort of direction for her voice went was not something I was entirely a huge fan of, but I was fine with it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Trevino?
Well, on top of that, as somebody who does Zelda voice acting dubs, I have a huge obsession with the champions, especially because they have all distinct personalities, and I recognize them by their voices instantly because that's how we get to know them, is through the cutscenes. Mm-hmm. So it was on and off at times. I loved Urbosa. Elizabeth did a great job voicing her. Like oh my god, she sounded fresh. She sounded sassy. She sounded sexy. Like, yeah, girl, give it to me.
Yeah,
so she gets a solid A for me. Rivali and Daruk, pretty good too. Again, I know Sean, who voices Rivali, and also Joe, who voices Daruk. They nailed the tone and the voice I pictured for them as Goron or Rito. Rito sounds cool and very suave, and then you have Daruk, who sounds very tough but also very goofy. Like, there you go. That's how a Goron should sound. Cool. I like it.
Can I just say that every time Daruk's power comes back, the ability, and he says Daruk's protection is now ready to roll, that brings a smile to my face.
It does.
Yeah, I heard that for the first time today, and I was like, oh, I like that. That's neat.
Yeah, I love Daruk. but yeah, again, the same issue I had with Alex is, as well as Alex's Mipha, is like, again, I get where she's coming from with the delivery with her voice. It's just, it felt really small and very weak in my opinion. It could have been bigger. It could have delivered the whole shy and more sheltered kind of feel more. But again, it's just me being nitpicky. But I love the voices. They're it's nice to hear them in an official Zelda game.
No, absolutely, and it did really add something to it. And a lot of people have come down on the voice acting. A lot of people are very split on it. I think overall it's good. I don't think it's fantastic, but I think a lot of them pull off well. And I do think Urbosa and Rivali to me are probably the strongest of the actors in the game. They really sold their characters to me, and they became I became attached to them quite a bit. Like Urbosa, you get a sense of her. The first cutscene I saw, the memory I saw, was actually the very first one where Zelda's performing the ceremony, and you can see how she's sort of protective of Zelda, and then you see her actual memory when you're going to the Gerudo, and how she's also kind of playful with Zelda, where she's willing to scare her.
Yes.
And then you just see the badassness of her, where she's talking about, like, I hear that you once, Ganon, you used to be a Gerudo. It's only fair that we fix this mistake. And this tone is just like
that was
and going off. It's like you could really feel the strength of her. It's like, hell yeah, and just. I don't know. She really pumped me up and just made a fun character. And I like that Rivali didn't really... we've seen a lot of characters not really respect Link throughout the course of the games. It's happened with Mito, it's happened with Groose, and we have that once again with Rivali. But there's something kind of... it's fun and different with Rivali, if only because he does have that voice, and you can sort of see the inflections that he has when he's talking about him. It's like... Pardon the way I say this, but you suck. Which
is great because it's so passive aggressive, and that's exactly what I vibe with.
Yeah, exactly. It's not outright like Groose was or Mito. He's he has to respect him because he has the Master Sword, but he doesn't respect him because he naturally feels he's better. And I like that moment when, of course, you beat his dungeon, and he has to admit, okay. You're pretty good.
You win.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I was saved by Link. How swell.
Yeah, exactly. It almost exactly is that. It was pretty great. Going to... Daruk is, to me, your typical Goron. He didn't leave too much of an impression to me. To me, he was just a voiced Darunia in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, which is fine. Gorons are fun in that way. And he was certainly an entertaining character, but he didn't really stand out in any way. And Mipha, I actually like the story surrounding Mipha the most out of all the locations you visit for the Divine Beast, because the first one I went to was the Zora, and walking in and seeing all these Zora just absolutely hate Link because he got her killed was really powerful to me. It was like, oh crap, I screwed up. I got this girl that all of these people love killed, and there's nothing I can really do about it because I failed. And then you can see the connection between the two of them and how, she did love Link. She was made that the shirt for him because she wanted to marry him. And it really goes to show once again that Link just, as has been going around, everybody wants to screw Link in this game.
I mean,
why does every Zora want to marry Link? Why is that a trend?
Ocarina of Time. I mean, but also haven't you seen his abs?
That is true. But I think the funny thing is like I would say, well, there is Sidon, but him and Mipha are kind of related, so that doesn't work out.
Oh, I'm okay with Link and Sidon. Like,
oh yeah,
go for that.
Hey, Link does ride Sidon. I don't want to say anything, but
crazy. Da, 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 da.
Well, PG just went out the window.
No,
it's implied. It's fine.
It's fine.
I do have to say on that though, you are right. Like it's that backstory with Mipha is so well defined, and I think if it's a shame. Like if the voice direction for Mipha was just a little bit different, because I think to jump off Trevino, there's a ton of different ways to play kind of shy, and I feel like. If it was done in a different way, it could have been way more effective.
Mm-hmm. It's just the problems that it was hard for us to hear sometimes. Like, come on, Mika, speak up! I can't hear you. What are you saying? Like, shy can work. It's just you need to speak up during that kind of like moment.
Yeah, she was getting a little too airy in her delivery, and you had to kind of really listen in. But I do think the moment that worked best for her, as far as her acting, was when she was trying to get, like right before Ganon appears in that memory, and after they come back from the Spring of Wisdom, and she's like, it helps me to think about, and it gets cut off, but again, she was probably going to talk about how she thinks of Link when she does her
Oh,
healing.
I thought she was talking about McDonald's.
Oh, that too.
Stop it, having food.
I will say though too, like her cutscene after you gain control of the Divine Beast Ruta, and she looks over as Zora's domain, like that scene was pretty powerful too for her, especially. I thought it, because it was the first dungeon I finished, like out of all the 4 Divine Beasts, and like I can just I'm reading the lines or the screen like as she's speaking. It's like, oh my god, like I can feel the emotions like just filling me up right now, like just like how she looks upon her family. Like, I wish I could have seen y'all one more time. It's like, no, my feels, what happened?
You kind of get that with Daruk too, because he's like, I wonder if the Gorons are actually still around, because he has no idea. He's been trapped for how long?
That one I think hit more for me.
And then he sees his nephew or something like that. Some
descendant,
yeah, just a descendant, and he's like, look at that, we actually carried on. And and you can just get that sense of satisfaction to him, and that's again a good moment. Yeah, it's good to reflect and really see that each of these champions did have a moment to really shine, and even some of the side characters, like I think like the other, like descendants or other people that helped you out to get to the Divine Beast. The two that stood out, obviously Sidon is one. The other, yes. I really like Riju. Riju to me was awesome. To see the young leader of the Gerudo, and her having to adjust the helmet so much because she is so young. It's just, I don't know. It's something that really endeared me to her, and I thought she was rather fun. The escort with the Goron, though, oh gosh, no.
No. You see, here's the thing. I like him as that character was. I thought he was more developed than Daruk, but good God, that mechanic was the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was too chancy. Didn't like it.
Nobody likes escort missions.
No.
Nobody knows how to program. Nobody other than Naughty Dog or Irrational Games know how to do escort missions that don't make you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah.
I actually only got caught once, I think. I think that was pretty easy, because I just went ahead and took the what are they called? Like were they the guardian sentries there that were flying around?
Yeah, I did that too. Still was annoying.
I should have done that. I hadn't figured out the shield reflect trick by that point, so
I still haven't.
Oh, really? I finally kind of got the timing down on it, so I can do a little bit better. But it was certainly interesting going through that moment and constantly getting caught and being like, oh, God. And then I realized, oh, I got to put this stuff over him to shield him from their vision, because apparently if I put this plate above them, they don't notice that. But if they see a person walking around...
using magnesis?
Yeah, using magnesis.
Oh, that's how you're supposed to do it? Oh, okay.
Well, that's how I did it. I don't know how that's supposed to do it. Obviously, with Breath of the Wild, there's a ton of different ways to do this type of stuff.
There is no right way to do it.
There's a whole lot of wrong ways, but
there's easy ways to do it, but there's not necessarily right ways to do it. It's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, I think the champions did their job well. I really wish I'd be able to interact with them more than just those flashbacks, and then of course getting to that, because I did enjoy their characters and getting a sense of them. But overall, I think they worked rather well of getting a sense of each of the different tribes and getting, being what they're like. But of course, it's time to go to Zelda herself, and
yeah,
I love this Zelda so much. This is probably, without getting into it yet, this is probably my favorite Zelda so far. It's a very close toss-up between her and Skyward Sword Zelda. But again, let's get you guys' opinions first. Darren, once again, what do you think of Zelda?
I thought she was great. I really liked her more in the princess role, because before, kind of in Twilight Princess we saw her and her role of a princess, but not so much anywhere else. I think in Breath of the Wild she came across well in that role, and the fact that she was trying to train to awaken her power and go to all the springs, and the struggles she had doing that. I think that really fleshed out her character, and that she was trying to do her best, but there was so much pressure put upon her. She felt so much pressure, from her father. And reading that diary, man, if you go into Zelda's study in her room there and read those diaries, I think that those two diaries were, one of my favorite parts of the game, because it just fleshes her character out so much. And her voice was great too. I know a lot of people were ragging on her voice acting, but I really liked it. I can't go anywhere without someone saying, "Oh, the voice acting for Zelda sucked." I thought, no, I thought it was pretty good. So, definitely my favorite Princess Zelda in the series. But as you said, Derek, Skyward Sword is a good one too. So they might tie, but I think Breath of the Wild Zelda comes out a little bit more.
What about you, Rosenberg?
I'm a little on the same page. Zelda took a lot for me to warm up to. Because the voice did kind of make me feel like, I don't know, but once I was actually watching the memories and seeing everything in context, everything just made so much more sense. And you can definitely see all the stress that she's been under, and the pressure to try to succeed, and not only to have Link just kind of be like, "Hi, I'm the hero. I can do the thing." And you can see how much that really just screws up with her head, and leading up to the scene in the forest. I think this is probably the second, maybe it's the final. Is it
with the Master Sword? Where she,
no, it's
it's the second to last one.
I think it's the weeping. It's the one where she just weeps into.
Oh
his arms.
Yeah, that one.
Watching that scene now, with all that context, I was just sort of watching, just going, "Wow, just whoa!" But. It was nice that you brought up the diary, because I actually read it today, because I finally finished the game today in preparation for this, and just reading that thing and with the context of all the memories, this is definitely the most the most thought out and set up character, or character arc, I should say, for Zelda. And I do think Skyward Sword Zelda is slightly more likable, but I really, really, really enjoy how they wrote Zelda.
What about you, Trevino?
It's been a very complicated time for me, because I just couldn't figure out if I wanted to like her or not. Ever since the Switch presentation back in January, because it was the first time we ever heard Zelda's voice for the first time, like as an official like reveal. And it's like, I don't know what to think about her. Her voice does not really sit well with me for some reason, but I didn't want to hate it. I wanted to give it a chance, and once I did, I grew to like Zelda. It was after like finishing the game, obviously, and getting all the memories. I just felt like this game itself does a poor job at showing who Zelda is, and by that I mean the fact that you don't get the memories in a chronological order, and that you get them at random points in the game depending on how you choose to play. That kind of hindered it for me for a while. But once I got the cutscene with her and Link, and many aspects, like in the forest, on the horseback, in the scene with the shrine, and the one with the flowers and the frog, that was hilarious.
That one was real funny.
Yeah.
And then frog. What?
And then especially the cutscene with her and her father at Hyrule Castle. Like
that is my favorite.
Yeah, that one was a huge one for her character.
Yeah, like that cutscene has the most juice for her content, her context as a character, and like, oh my god, I could not be more for Zelda in that scene, because like you see her passion for technology and studying, and how she is not so worried about trying to do her training or whatever. Her father's pushing her to do all this kind of stuff, and it's like, no, I'm doing everything I can. I'm sorry, and then again, it just puts her in a tight spot. It's like, dang, I feel for her. So yeah, that part, and also the breakdown scene in the forest was pretty strong too. So I'm all for the voice. I liked it a lot. I love her character. I was torn between her, Skyward Sword Zelda, and Tetra in Wind Waker.
Forgot about her.
Yeah, but now that I see this game and compare it to Zelda and the other entities, I'm leaning more towards this Zelda in Breath of the Wild, because I can now nab at points that I don't like the most, or rather my cons for other Zeldas, like in Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. But it's definitely a huge tie between this Zelda and the one in Skyward Sword. So it's definitely either or.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty much in agreement with you guys. As far as her voice acting, I became accustomed to it. I do think the thing that's tripping a lot of people up with it is the fact that they are going for that British inflection for her to give that sort of sense of royalty, I assume. And that kind of takes you out of it, because nobody else really has that accent, and it kind of, I don't know, creates a separation between you and her almost immediately. But again, her acting does show through in a lot of these scenes. The frog scene, I love that. It really gave a sense of her playfulness and just the comedic effect and how that all worked. And of course, the scene with her father. And to me, that is her defining scene in all of this. And you really do see how, she's working toward this, but she has this natural affinity for this ancient technology. She understands it. She likes to research it, and she's good at it. So it's frustrating for her that she's being forced to work on something that she's not good at, that she doesn't have a natural talent for. And it is sort of like this typical parent saying, no, you have to do this. You can't do this silly thing. It doesn't help us at the moment. It's not good for your future. We need to work on this. And there's a lot of depth to be read in that, just because of her relationship with her father, and of course the early passing of her mother, and how because of that she wasn't getting a proper trainer, and she was stuck with her father, who didn't understand any of this but knew that she had to do this and just had to basically keep pushing her. And you guys talked about her diary, and I do want to get to that eventually, but real quick to bring up King Rome's diary that you can find in the castle as well, and you can see his regret at having pushed her so hard and being like, I want to hug her and console her and make sure and let her know that she's fine, but I have to put my duty as a king first and the protection of my people, because Ganon is coming. So you can see it from his end too, about why he's pushing her like this, why he seems so cruel in that scene. And even at the very end, when she's going off to the Spring of Wisdom, he's like, when she gets back, if she doesn't succeed, I'm just going to tell her she did well and not scold her, because at that point, it's pointless. And of course, he never gets to do that because Ganon arises and he's killed before it happens. And that's its own sort of tragedy that, for all we know, he was never able to reconcile with Zelda. Who knows how she feels about him at this point, unless she, of course, finds the diary herself and discovers all that. It's, again, this fascinating character study that's not on the surface at first, but as you dig deeper, you really get that sense, and Zelda just becomes this truly fascinating character. And I was loving the moment where I got all the memories and I sat down. I had to record it for a GameXplain video, but I was going to do this anyway, even if I didn't record it. Watch them all in order, and you get this real sense of her character arc with Link, and how she's just sort of doing that ceremony out of necessity because that's what Daruk suggested, and okay, we'll do that. And then seeing how she's resentful against Link, and then he saves her from the Yiga clan, and all of a sudden you can see her turning around and becoming a lot more friendly towards Link, and seeing them interacting in those ways, but also seeing, like, opening up to him and showing the frustration that's building in her. And I love that character arc so much.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, especially because now that you bring it up of how, she comes to being like, I don't really know, blah, 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 being very hostile towards Link, to, being in that super vulnerable spot of weeping into, someone that the arms of someone that you really don't really know. And I think that the way that they handled it is, I think brilliant. And I do have to say, I think that was my issue primarily with Zelda at first, was the accent. It's this very, it's this received pronunciation British accent, which is incredibly classy, but she's literally the only one in the game that does it. And so it's just kind of like, okay, because I don't even think the king had it.
No,
I think he did, but it was really soft, so you can hardly hear any kind of accent.
Yeah, it was subtle, whereas Zelda's was not. And I think if it was maybe a little less subtle, it would have been probably totally fine. But the fact that it's very clear, and that we don't hear it from the king, I think it's a little jarring. If they were both that, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would make a lot of sense. But what else did you, what other sense, did you get from Zelda? Did you feel the frustration? Is that what really endeared you to her, is the frustration of her just not being able to access these powers?
In her situation, she has a very, grounded and relatable, a life, honestly, because she likes, as you said, she has things she likes to do and has more skill in that, but she's being pushed to do something else that she's not as experienced in, and that's easy to be able to relate to. Mm-hmm. So that part is what hooked me the most, and I think just having her not be so she's not unlikable, so obviously it's just that she's very complicated at times, and you won't really get to see that on the surface. And once you read more about her, that's kind of where you really understand her a lot more. So it's just as soon as you dig deep with her, then I have nothing but a huge appreciation for what she's doing and what she's capable of, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I think when I warmed up to her was, I saw the amount of pressure that was being put on her, and sometimes that's relatable. We all have pressure put on us to be something or do something when she doesn't want that, or she does, but it's not what she's good at. And I think I empathized with her. I felt sorry for her, and I think that's when I started really paying attention to her character and realizing that, wow, this is a very deep character arc here. And I really think that's what brought her character home for me personally.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also her relation with Link, because obviously she hates Link at first. She hates him just because he naturally was able to easily pick up becoming the hero. getting the Master Sword, chosen by the Master Sword, and he asks and she even sort of tests him oh, how good of a hero can you be? Can you hear the sword talk yet? They say that only the true heroes can actually hear the sword talk to them, and really sort of pushing him, and of course pushing him away because she's I don't need you around me. You don't need to be my shadow. And of course he doesn't pay attention. He's always there with her. And in her diary, there is lines in there about how she resented him because to her, he picked it up easily. He had no issues. He was just, gifted, and it was representing all the things that she could not do. And you get a little sense of this in Urbosa's cutscene where she's not angry at you. She's angry at herself for not being as good as you. But it also gives more of an insight into Link's character and how they actually give a reason for why he doesn't talk much in the game, or doesn't talk at all, because he feels all the pressure on himself to be this great hero that he clams up for fear of just saying anything wrong, and just decides just go for it. Not really. I forget the exact wording on it, but it really impressed me, or was impressed upon me, just how he was going through a similar thing as Zelda. He just internalized it much more than she did, so that outwardly it seemed like he was handling it just fine, but he was still struggling with the idea, and that's why he's silent.
And I feel like that's something that's incredibly relatable to a whole lot of people, because that was something that resonated with me. Because I'm one of those people personally, because I am a performance artist when I'm not doing all this Zelda stuff, and I'm a filmmaker and all that. But I work with a lot of colleagues who are brilliant, and they, one of my friends had to go perform at the Kennedy Center in Jacob's Pillow, and I am choreography, not, yeah. And so there is a whole lot of pressure on me to do something really cool and interesting, to sort of be on the same playing field as my friend. And, a lot of people talk to me and, they say, oh, you seem to have everything all under control. And I'm like, yeah, I put up a really good front, because inside I'm just internally screaming. So the fact that I could see that tension in, Link and in Zelda in specific ways were something that I could really latch onto.
I think it really goes to show, it's really nice to see how much Nintendo has really been evolving the Zelda character pretty much ever since Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess to me is Zelda at her flattest. She has no character in that. She's just the princess. And, she seems like she would be cool and all, but no, there's really nothing to her. But then you also, and just before that you had Tetra, who was really interesting, but as soon as she became Zelda, nothing to her. She just became the princess. And it was after Twilight Princess when we started seeing, even with Spirit Tracks, where she had some personality, and of course Skyward Sword, where she really had the personality as sort of just not a princess, just a girl that grew up with Link. And I feel like that's where they really got their footing about what the Zelda character could be and what they could actually do with her. And to see Nintendo finally taking this character and making more out of her than what we've seen over the years is really refreshing. And I really can't wait to see what kind of characterization Zelda continues to get in the future. Because for now, to see this doubt and this struggle, we've never seen that before with Zelda. And it makes her just so much more relatable.
This new game definitely set the bar for a lot of different things for Zelda. And I hope they continue to build up on those kind of things, like story, gameplay, the world itself, everything. I have high hopes for the next Zelda game to be just as good, if not better.
Right, but keep in mind we're gonna get an expansion pass with even more story.
Oh, that's right. I'm concerned.
So that's the other thing. What more are they gonna throw at us in come December?
Yeah, December.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, December.
Part of me wants to hope it's a new story after the end of the game, but that's highly unlikely. But I'm not sure. Anything could happen.
I don't know. A continuation of the true ending cutscene there with Zelda and Link talking about, we'll go over to Zora's domain and do this.
Yeah,
I kind of hope it's a continuation of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just decided, because I pulled up the expansion pass stuff, because I actually wasn't entirely sure when anything was coming out. Like, we're apparently also getting another dungeon, more challenges, also more map features, and a hard mode. Like, we freaking need it. Honestly, because is this the first like major story DLC that we've gotten for Nintendo? Because I feel like it is,
yeah,
and I feel like I personally have no idea what they're gonna pull.
Part of me wants to believe it's going to be a side story inside the actual game in the present time, and not anything after the final boss, because that way it doesn't integrate anything like currently done in the game itself. Like as you open the game, like in general, like I still think everything like enemies and all that kind of stuff will still be there, because like it's kind of hard to transition from the general game environment to what happens after the end of the game, because are there still monsters? Are there still malice? Is there still like anything? All that kind of stuff.
That makes sense, especially since when you beat the game, it's like you're continuing to play, but it's right before you fight Ganon again. So it really can't be after that final cutscene, as cool as that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I mean, that's the standard for Zelda games at this point. Like, you know, you'll essentially just go back to right before you walk into the final boss chamber, which is fine, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's, you know, I am just interested in seeing, you know, we're getting a new dungeon, which I'm just assuming is going to tie into that original story, and whether or not that finds its way into just an added portion of the campaign or another element, like, because now it has to sort of connect to the canon that's already been established.
I could have sworn that new dungeon is something similar to the cave from the Twilight Princess HD bundle.
Cave Shadows?
Yeah. So I'm not. I think it's like a bonus thing to do or something. I'm not sure.
Well, there is a Cave of Trials.
Yeah, that is coming.
Right.
As part
Yeah,
of the
that's
first
coming in
DLC.
the summer.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be something similar to that. It's as far as the first one, we're getting that. We're getting the new map functionality, which the only thing I can think of at this point, that has to be like a Korok locator. That's,
Oh God, please!
That's
Oh my God.
That's the only thing I can
Please.
think of.
I'm gonna be done with Koroks by then. Though.
I won't be.
Exactly.
I probably won't.
Well, that'll be there for hard mode when you go that, because you know, as hard as the early
There we
game
go.
is, if they can make the finale more difficult when you're fighting Ganon, that'd be nice.
Oh, here, let's make it more
That
difficult.
would be
Let's throw
nice.
Blood Moon.
There you go.
Because that's apparently happened to people. Like, what is hard mode supposed to be for this game? Do they actually know? Did they say what that was?
No, we haven't gotten no details on that yet. I'd guess we'd probably, depending on when it comes out,
Cool.
I'd say probably around E3, unless it comes out before that. It's hard to say.
No, it actually comes out in August.
Oh wow!
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was confirmed yesterday, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't hear
wow,
about
I missed that one.
Yeah. So definitely we'll get more details probably around E3. They'll probably actually show off what the story section will be for
That
it.
would be nice.
But yeah, if we're going story plus a new dungeon, it has to be a scenario kind of like the other areas, like with the Rito and the Goron and Gerudo and whatnot, where you meet the characters, you go through a series of challenges in order to make your way to the dungeon, and then you complete the dungeon and you complete the section. How in depth that story will be is the really tricky part. And like when I first heard about this and had no idea what the story would be, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if you could play as Zelda for this section? And upon playing the game, there's no way that's going to happen. I cannot see it happening, especially because this is a Zelda. Like, it seems like a more action-oriented Zelda. Unless we can use the light nukes that she can use, I don't think we're going to be getting any action. Although that would be awesome.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
I would be game with that.
So it'll be interesting to see what they add, but I don't think it's going to be anything like mind-blowing or
Sure.
I mean, if they add anything, I want them to add two things. One, I want them to be able to sort all the food and materials, because that is getting so hard to organize. Two, I want them to add a pet doggo option. That's all I want. I want to pet the dogs.
I can actually see that being a kind of update.
I I mean, come on. You can hold dogs in Twilight Princess. Why can't I pet a dog in Breath of the Wild? I mean...
That is a legitimate complaint. I have wanted to pet dogs and I can't, and it's made me sad.
And they even did a pupper thing on National Puppy Day last week. I mean...
Yeah. Especially when you see them
Nintendo.
chasing their tail and they actually get it. Come on, how can you not want to pet a dog
They're so cute!
once it actually does that? But but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the future holds as far as this DLC. But I do not my expectations have definitely gone down as far as how extravagant it's going to be.
Yeah, especially for DLC.
So which is fine.
Not necessarily, because I've played like a lot of DLC that's been, like have you guys played Left Behind for Last of Us? Like that, I've seen stuff, because stuff like Left Behind, because that's lots of words. Stuff like Left Behind has this like really great like arching plot that, while like kind of injected into that story arc, had so much in it. And I feel like that's something that Nintendo could look at and pull from. And I feel like if they do it, if they plan as much as they did with the story arc that they made for Breath of the Wild's just main campaign, I feel like it could probably do very well. I'm not going to go in with any expectations because I don't know what to expect about anything with this series. But, if they have that kind of effort and care, I feel like it's just going to still be really solid regardless.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think as long as they have a well-told and interesting side story, almost self-contained, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
As long, and at the very least, it's an excuse to keep playing or play something new within this world, So,
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's always good.
I mean, hunting Korok seeds is kind of like busy work. Like, I want to play more, and it's like, what do I have left to do? Upgrade armor and hunt Korok seeds. That's fun, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a bit.
Like,
it
I
gets
want
a
an
bit
excuse
tedious.
to play this game more than I am right now, because I've done a lot, contrary to what the percent counter says at the bottom left corner of the map. But
Oh my God.
I just want more Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm amazed how, when I first heard there were 900 Korok seeds, I was like, wait, what? No, that's not a real number. There's what? 900? Are you kidding? And then, case in point, I think I did like 53 shrines on my playthrough on the Wii U version, and I finished everything. I go check my percentage, 15.3. Oh, well, okay. Sure. I guess I have another 100 more hours. That's fine. This is fine.
I heard the Korok seeds
More
make
than
up
that.
like 70% of the completion rating or something like that, so I wouldn't feel too
What?
bad about that.
72.
That is so extra.
Yeah, it's about 72%, I believe. It's crazy.
What?
So
Somewhere around that.
And the sad thing is that they're like useless after a particular point, and the reward you get is not even worth it.
nope.
Oh, it's totally worth it.
It stinks. Hey.
It's a golden turd.
I like to
what?
I like to refer to it as it's pretty crap.
But
God.
I'm just like, cool. It kind of gives me the same feeling that I had when I was playing Arkham Knight, and how I had to do all the work for the Riddler trophies to get the true ending, and it was just like not worth it. And I'm like, cool. I'm glad I spent all that time doing that. Great, thanks.
Did you guys get the reward for completing the Hyrule Compendium yet?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't even started.
That is.
And I'm still wondering what the heck it is.
It has
and
to be
why.
a picture of young Impa in my mind.
I figured out like the trick to it. Okay, it's stupid because in the game they don't tell you what to do with it at all. But once you have the classified envelope, go to Kakariko Village, go to Impa's house and talk to Paya, and ask her about her life story, pretty much.
Oh, you have to ask her about her life story again. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to do that.
Does I don't think that does anything.
Actually, it
because
does.
I've
Actually, it does.
because she tells you where the birthmark is, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Oh,
it.
you've actually learned where the
I
birthmark is.
think she told me that
okay.
before I completed the compendium.
Oh, okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Then
Weird.
yeah.
I think
It's hard.
I'm not sure.
It's hard to say. Maybe I wouldn't know because I didn't talk to her again about that since asking that question. Although it was interesting reading her diary as you make progress in the game, because eventually she admits that no, Paya loves Link as well, and she didn't know what love was and was talking to people, and they were like, "Hi, you're in love," and she realized that, and also realized that no, Link loves Zelda, so this is completely unrequited. But I'm happy I got to experience the feeling of love. I'm like, and that kills me because Pi is my favorite.
I like her. She's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting to read that diary, and I was just like, oh, well, all right.
Best waifu.
Yeah, it's all the girls are after Link, and some of the men.
I'm not surprised.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Who's surprised?
No. I mean,
nobody.
You saw
nobody.
how cute Link was when he was put on the Gerudo outfit.
I loved that so much. I lived for that.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it.
It was.
I mean, I think all the costumes, all the outfits are just fantastic.
They are.
Except for the shorts that you get for, I mean, we're already in heavy spoiler territory at this point, but of course, when you get all 120 shrines, you get the Tunic of the Wild set. So the hat.
Yeah, I don't like those shorts.
The shirt and the hat are fine, but those shorts, I'm like, oh, that's terrible. So
yeah, they don't set well with me.
So I just wore the Hylian trousers, and it looks so much better.
Yeah.
And I got it up to, I did upgrade it to 2 stars to see what the bonus would be for wearing the complete set, and it only powers up your sword beam. So I'm like, oh, I can live without that. I barely use it, so cool.
I didn't.
Isn't it the most has the most defense in the game once it's fully upgraded? I believe it has 88 defense.
Yes, but I'm like at 78 defense without it. So I'm like, I'm a 70 in the 70s somewhere. So I'm like, I can live without that extra whatever defense.
Yeah,
It's probably fine.
I've taken down a silver Lionel. I think I'm good.
Oh God,
I had to grind
am
so
not-
many of those to upgrade the barbarian armor. I have that fully upgraded. It took so long.
Gosh,
Me too.
I haven't fully done that yet.
I have all the clothes upgraded to the final level, and oh my god, that was tedious work with the Lionels, the star fragments, because those are just chants, I think.
Great.
And then the dragons.
Oh,
too.
the dragons! I had to look at like what is the easiest way to reach them at each point because I had to do it twice for each part for every dragon. So that was that's what kept me the longest from I beat it. I found everything. I found all the shrines, but I want to upgrade my tunic to its max. But I gotta grind these damn dragons.
It's just tedious because in a lot of cases you have to build a campfire and then just wait for them to come to you. So you're just sitting there waiting.
Well, to be fair, they aren't hard to like because what I do is I wait at night and I go to the towers in Hebra, and Mount Lanayru and Lake Hylia. And I go to all those places in the nighttime. And they all appear around like midnight or 1 o'clock, and then I just fly to them, and then easy stuff, honestly.
Easier to spawn than the Blood Moon.
Oh, the Blood Moon.
Yeah.
I have been trying to get that one shrine that requires the Blood Moon. I literally was like, last time I played, I was just sitting for about 45 minutes trying to get it to spawn, and it did not happen.
I've heard from a couple people that you have to kill if it's not spawning, you have to kill more enemies, and then it has a better chance.
Great! There's a kill ratio.
Just go on a Lionel killing spree. You'll be great.
Yeah.
With
my skill level, have fun.
As far as the dragons, I discovered that if you get to the bridge that eventually leads to the Rito, like right next to the one stable, Dinral will come right next to you. Like it's right above the golfing minigame.
Oh wow!
I think if you get there around, I think it's around 10 a.m. or something like that. So I just wait at the pot till the morning, run over. By the time I'm over there, he's coming my way. So Dinral's pretty easy. Faroche, I just go to the Faron Forest, go to the bridge around night, and I have to wait for it to become midnight. But it eventually does show up at the bridge, and it's pretty easy to get what you need to go. The hardest one for me to find the best way to farm it was Nadra. And somebody on Twitter gave me the tip that if you go to the top of Mount Nehru, wait till about midnight, and then start paragliding towards the ocean, it'll spawn right next to you, or you'll spawn right below. You can easily just get whatever you need from it.
Okay, you guys have a lot of different locations than I do. For Nadra, I wait at the Lanayru Road East Gate, right at the bottom of the mountain, and Nadra will come right down there at night. For Dinral, at the very north of the map, I go to the Elden Great Skeleton, and I think he comes around there during nighttime as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, for I can't remember the name, but the electricity
Farosh,
one.
yeah.
Farosh.
Yeah, Farosh. That one, of course, Lake Hylia, just on the bridge there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's again, it just shows that there's so many ways to do these things, and there's no wrong way to do it. It's just whatever you find easiest.
Yeah, and the real challenge of the dragons is being able to get the right material from them, their horns, their fangs, their tooth, or their scale.
Get a zoom bow.
Yeah, it's so
one of the bows that zoom in helps so much.
Oh, the golden bow.
Yeah.
oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, there's I think it's the golden bow and the Ferrex bow. I think the other one is. They are a godsend if you want to get the specifics.
Yeah, my personal favorite is the Lionel bow because you got the 3-shot and the 5-shot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
That is nice.
And it only takes up 1 arrow, so it's
Even
it's
better.
great.
That's amazing.
But we kind of.
I haven't gotten near the Lionels.
They're fun to fight once you actually have the armor to take them on. It's nightmare before that. Jeez.
Yeah, seriously.
Harder than Calamity Ganon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Pretty much.
I still haven't killed the one with the giant clubber. It's god awful.
Oh, that weapon is so OP. I found one the other day that was well, I say found. I murdered a Lionel and took it. It was 106 damage.
106. Holy crap.
God,
yeah, because
damn.
it had the damage up on it. Because normally they're around 70 something, and it had 25 damage up. So it was awesome.
Holy crap. That's
Wow.
ridiculous.
I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should tweet it out because it was amazing.
You should.
When I found it, I'm like, wow, I did not know that weapons could go up that high.
Seriously, that's twice as powerful
I
as the
didn't
Master
either.
Sword at Hyrule Castle. So
Yeah.
And it's probably more durable.
probably. Yeah. So, but yeah, obviously we all enjoyed the game and what it had to offer, and while the story was very differently told, I do think it was told well, and it had some very memorable characters and memorable situations in the case of Zelda. I think she's going to stand out for a very long time as far as her personality, and I'm very curious to see where Nintendo takes the Zelda series after this, because in my mind, unless they leave Hyrule, they can't use this tactic again because it's still Hyrule. What can you make different about it, Mm-hmm. So personally, we'll go speak to you about this too. Personally, what I want to see from the next Zelda is a combination of the other 3D Zeldas we've seen where we get more intricate dungeons and boss fights matched with the more open-endedness of Breath of the Wild. Maybe not as big as Breath of the Wild, but still allowing that variation while keeping a little bit closer to the structure of classic Zelda.
I've said this before in the past, but I'd like to see something kind of Majora's Mask-esque, where it was very much a sequel to Ocarina of Time, used the same engine and whatnot. I think they should definitely reuse Breath of the Wild's engine, and maybe not use the same world, but create another world, not as big, but maybe a little smaller, and kind of focus more on, I want to say side quests, but maybe not, because Breath of the Wild has some great side quests as it is. So maybe focus on another smaller aspect, and kind of make that shine, sort of like how Majora's Mask made side quests a big part of the game. I'd like to see, maybe a quick turnaround sequel in 3 years. Who knows if they could pull it off, but I have faith in them.
Sure.
Oh, jeez. I feel like with Breath of the Wild, Nintendo was just kind of let's just go in a completely different direction of everything that we've done. So I do agree to the extent that, let's see what they can sort of hone back from the open world and bring from what they've done before. I would like to have maybe a little bit of like some linear dungeons. That would be kind of fun just to divvy it up. I think the shrine mechanic is great. I think 120 is a little excessive. Mm-hmm. Like maybe, less than that, I think would probably be fine, because I think if you go too far, it kind of overdoes the mechanic, and then it sort of makes it not as good of an impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I don't really know, because this is a game that is so vastly different from everything that we've ever had Zelda-wise, that I honestly don't really know where I even want this to go. So I'm just kind of like, have fun, good luck figuring this out. I'm interested in seeing what you do, because clearly I don't know. I have no idea where to go from this point, because they've done so much of a change.
For me, it's hard to say, because like this game definitely felt like years of work put into it. Like, honestly, I can go another 5 or 6 years until another Zelda game comes out. Like, I'll be fine if that's the case, at least. So in that retrospect, like, now that we have an engine from this game, I want them to use this. Maybe just, I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if they made like a remaster of Ocarina of Time HD or something. That'd be nice.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Yeah, but
I'm behind.
Yeah,
that.
As long as the controls aren't as terrible as the Virtual Console controls for the Wii U, I'm game.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness now, like, I want to see Zelda back on the 3DS for a while, and have another game and not entirely from the engine from Breath of the Wild. Just something like in a different like Zelda style or art style. So I'll be okay with that. Mm-hmm. So again, it can just go either way. It's honestly, if they go back to the original formula for a while, I wouldn't be too upset, because I think if they could implement things from all different Zelda games, like especially from the newest one, I think it'd be a solid follow-up game, because the gameplay was one of my favorite parts of Breath of the Wild, because it felt good to play. And honestly, after playing Breath of the Wild for so long, and I go back and play a game like Twilight Princess, oh my god, the gameplay just felt so alien to me. It's like, wait, I can't run like this anymore.
Yes. Oh my god. I was
fly?
recording. I was recording footage for a video on the Virtual Console for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and it threw me off so hard.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, I completely forgot that I had to roll to go faster in the other Zelda games. I couldn't jump. I couldn't climb anymore.
You can't use the right stick at all. You're just like, what? Why can't? Oh, Christ.
So like, I want
so bad.
So yeah, with that, I want them to like implement things from Breath of the Wild into a new Zelda game to make it not feel as strange, because now we've developed a really cool way to play Zelda, and I hope we keep that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think that's the best idea. I mean, to me, the analogy I would say is, how we went from Zelda 1 to Link to the Past. I know I'm skipping over Zelda 2, but if we're looking at direct comparisons, Zelda 1 to Link to the Past, do the same thing with Breath of the Wild to its sequel, where you take what worked, focus on that, expand upon it, keep the ideas, but also just make it even more just mind-blowing in that way. Mm-hmm. And structured, more structured, I guess is the better idea to put it, or better way to put it. So we'll see what Nintendo does. There's a lot of avenues open. Like, personally, I still like the idea Andre had of a co-op Zelda, sort of in the way of Four Swords Adventures, just because the Switch comes with 2 controllers automatically, and to have a local co-op Zelda game, I think that'd be kind of fun, just as a nice in-between until we get the next major Zelda game.
I can see that as long as that's not a travesty like Triforce Heroes, we'll be good.
Hey! Now I love Triforce Heroes.
I didn't have anyone to play Triforce Heroes with, and single player was dreadful.
Yeah, that's the caveat. You need to have friends to play it with, otherwise it is a mess.
Yeah, I had no one to play it with, which was really sad because I loved that storyline. That storyline was ridiculous, and I was living for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, I mean, the free expansion DLC basically doubled the game's size. I mean, I thought it was awesome.
There was an expansion DLC?
Yeah, there was.
Well,
I never knew about.
Completely free, too.
And this is why I missed it, because I never actually beat it. Womp womp.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes because it's hard to get 3 friends together locally or co-op with their own 3DS and their own version of the game, which is why a co-op Switch version makes so much sense, because, hey, play this with me. I already have the controller for you.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing with Four Swords, right? I mean, you had to find friends with link cables, and, how many people did that? Not many.
Yeah.
Ooh, that actually... I would be interested in seeing a Four Swords, remake on the Switch.
That'd be
That
cool.
would be cool.
Or on the virtual console, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If it can work with the Switch's infrared thing that they're trying to implement for Splatoon and Mario Kart,
Yeah.
that would be really smart.
Yeah, I agree.
Because rumors are GameCube's coming to Virtual Console anyway.
Yeah, we'll see
So
if it does.
that could be in Four Swords Adventures, and I would be fine with that.
That'd be awesome. Four Swords Adventures is a great game.
Yeah.
Again, if you can get the multiplayer going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of options for Nintendo. I feel very good about the future of the series. It'll be very interesting to see where they go from here, because it is really just wide open. There's so many different directions they can take at this point, because they got this just beloved idea. It's great to see people enjoy this Zelda this much. So yeah,
Absolutely. And if it means anything, this Zelda game, I played it and finished it all the way through during its launch year, back in Twilight Princess on the Wii and Skyward Sword on at the last year of the Wii. I didn't finish those games. Those were so it's the horror of the motion controls for me that scared me away or just drew me away from playing the game entirely. So I like how Breath of the Wild, the gameplay and everything about it, it kept me engaged and it kept me involved, and I wanted to finish everything about it. So definitely go in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like for me, because this is the first time that for me at ZU, I have been personally involved in the development of preparations for Breath of the Wild, especially because I also hosted or ran for Zelda Universe our first charity marathon, where 7 of us just got into an apartment and played through Breath of the Wild in 2 days. But this was the first time a major thing like this that completely changed the game has kind of come out when I have been part of the team, and having that and being able to finish it this quickly is also very huge, especially for me because I'm awful at beating games, and the fact that I've beaten them within a month is kind of an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
I'm with you. I'm horrible at beating games. I do not beat games that often. I'm better now than I was years ago, but I was surprised because I beat Breath of the Wild in 2 weeks maybe, and I'm still playing it obviously, but I was surprised at how soon I beat it, because every chance I got I was playing it, and because of the Switch, I was playing it on the go as well. But I'm definitely with you guys. Being able to play this game and beat it in launch year, so close to its launch. I don't think I've ever really done that. I think I did that with A Link Between Worlds, but with every other game, it just kind of staggers out, and I might play through half of it, and then I might pick it up again a while later or start all over. I'm awful like that, but I was happy that Breath of the Wild kept me so. It had a grip on me. It kept me so engrossed in the gameplay that I wanted to beat this game, and I did. So I'm with you guys on that.
And I think it's a testament to Nintendo as well, because because ended up picking up Horizon, 3 days before, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try to beat as much as I can at this because I know Zelda's gonna take up all my time, and it did. But it did nothing. It never felt boring in Breath of the Wild, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, especially because of the fact I'm not a fan of open world games. Before Breath of the Wild, the only open world game I actually beat was Red Dead Redemption. And,
which is great.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I gradually lose interest, but there's always something to pull you in with Breath of the Wild, whether it's the story, the gameplay, the discoveries that you can make, just all these little things that just kept everything focused. And the way I played it too is just, because I basically opened up an area, fully explored that, moved on to the next area, and just kept that method throughout the entire game. And my schedule with GameXplain is extremely busy. I'm constantly needing to work on different things, but I still carved out enough time that I was able to beat Zelda within this month. And, I think I put in over 110 hours or something like that. It's nuts. That's how engrossed I was in this game. And unlike you guys, I was able to beat Link Between Worlds, Skyward Sword, and Twilight Princess the year they released, but I also... Zelda just sort of takes up my attention like that, and I will drop everything, despite what I might feel about it. Although I am a fan, I'm a defender of Skyward Sword. I think Skyward Sword has a lot of good things to offer, and I know a lot of people will come against that because of linearity or just how everything is so hand-holdy. But that story of Zelda just pulls me right in, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Nintendo goes. So
yeah, it's the same thing. There's video of me on ZU stuff of me saying this is an open world game. That scares me because that's too big. When I play open world games like Fallout, I'm like, there's too many things for me to do. I don't know what to do, and then I just never get back to it.
Exactly.
I was afraid of how big it was too, but after I got all the towers activated and everything, and I saw the map in its entirety, it's like, dude, this world doesn't seem so big, and it didn't scare me then because I knew where everything was. I was able to teleport to places, so that part.
Yeah, thank God fast travel is a thing.
Yeah, so I think because of those things like teleportation, not just by the shrine or the towers, but also the shrines, it makes getting around not as hard or a chore. And that makes them more welcoming in my view.
That was probably the best part.
Before the game came out, I was like, this world can't be that big. It can't be that big. I think everyone's exaggerating. And then March 3rd came along, and I booted up the game, took one look at the map, and I said, oh, this is...
He's like, oh, wow. Okay, this is... I have made a huge mistake.
Yeah, but then, as I filled in all the pieces, and, by the time I had all the map filled in, and I kind of got familiar with all the areas, it's like, this... it is huge, but it's not overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know where everything is. And then, I'll go around and explore and be like, oh, I didn't look at this little area here. Even though I didn't, I still know, about where I am. So it's not too overwhelming, but still encourages a lot of exploration because there is a lot to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did that extremely well. So a lot to love, and I think that covers it for our Breath of the Wild discussion. We actually got away from the story bit there, just talked about the gameplay because it is just that good. But thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Darren, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitter at RealDern, RealDern. I tweet about video games, most commonly Zelda, and sometimes Linkin Park.
Very good.
All right. And Alex Rosenberg, where can they find you at?
You can find me at Luca_Starks on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat. I'm also youtube.com/LucaStarks, no underscore. And when I'm not doing Zelda stuff, I do a whole lot of... I try to be witty on the internet, but I'm also a modern dancer and performer. So you can check out all of that stuff. I have some stuff on my YouTube channel, and if you want to check out more, you can also go to my website, which is alexrosenberg.net.
Awesome. And Alex Trevino?
You can find me at Trainer Trevino on Twitter, and you can also find me doing tweets and stuff on at Zelda Universe on Twitter, and at Zelda Universe on Facebook, and also at and Zelda Universe TV on YouTube, where we do Zelda dubs. We also do a spin-off called Hades Misguidance, where Hades trash talks as the Smash Fighters and Smash Wii U and 3DS, which is hilarious. We have an all-star cast, and we just talk about Zelda a lot on our social media. So please come hang out with us and talk with us. And if you have disagreements with my opinions on Twitter, feel free to @ me so I will talk to you, regardless if it's good or not.
Yep. We also have a Twitch, which is twitch.tv/ZeldaUniverseTV, and we're also on Instagram at ZeldaUniverseTV. I'm one of the people that run the Instagram, so you will probably see my stuff there too. There's a bit of dance on that too, so you should check it out.
And now that you guys mention it, you can find Zelda Informer on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Google+. I know Tumblr and Google+, not a lot
Google+?
of
What
websites
is this,
have accounts
2011?
for it. I know, right? But I'm also head of the Zelda Informer Twitter at Zelda Informer, so you might see me tweeting there too. So
Cool.
awesome.
And,
Great.
of course, be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Zelda and other things gaming too. Until next time, bye.